The sun bled over the horizon, painting the London skyline in orange and purple. The city below was mostly asleep, but on the 72nd floor, the night was only just ending. The penthouse was a monument to excess. Empty champagne bottles, the scent of perfume and the debris of a celebration scattered everywhere. It felt less like a home and more like a command center, a place to manipulate the world below. I picked my way through the aftermath, my shoes crunching on discarded party favors. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a god's eye view, a view that cost more than most people earn in a lifetime. Yet, no one watched the sunrise. All 6 pairs of eyes were fixed on a holographic Bitcoin price chart shimmering in the center of the room. It was their Bible, their oracle, their weapon. The silence was heavy, broken only by the clink of ice and the hum of the projector. This was no ordinary party aftermath, it was a vigil, a new priesthood watching their digital deity fluctuate in real time. The air was thick with exhaustion and electric anticipation. They'd been up all night, not just drinking, but scheming. Ambition was a tangible force, as real as the cold glass and chrome furniture. They weren't just watching the market, they were willing it into submission. The opulence felt aggressive, the technology predatory. The people, a clique of polished MBA graduates, vibrated with a shared, unspoken purpose. This wasn't about getting rich in the usual sense. It was about power, the kind that lets you reshape the world from above. The rising sun wasn't just a new day. For them, it was the dawn of a new era, an era they intended to own. In this room, the future was being written, and the world below had no idea. At the center was Julian, the undisputed king. Tall, sharp-suited, he moved with unnerving stillness, his words calm and surgical. He swirled whiskey, eyes locked on the chart, seeing not just numbers but patterns and opportunities. He was the strategist, the grandmaster. Flanking him were the twins, Marcus and Isabella. The public face, the enforcers, Marcus, all charm and calculated smiles, could sell anything to anyone. Isabella, sharper and direct, handled operations, her phone buzzing with constant updates. They were the hunters, luring prey into their trap. Leo, the tech guru, slouched with a laptop, muttering about code and security. He was the high priest of the machine, the engine under their financial vehicle. Without Leo, it was all just theory. And then Olivia, standing apart by the window, troubled. She was as ambitious as any, but a flicker of doubt lingered in her eyes, a conscience the others had long since buried. She was the potential dissenter, the only one who might question the cost. In this room, every role was essential, but Olivia's doubt was a crack in their armor. Hope was a resource to be exploited, not cherished. This doctrine shielded them from guilt. By seeing the world as a battlefield, they weren't aggressors, just the smartest, most ruthless survivors. They weren't creating inequality, just capitalizing on it. Greed became virtue, ruthlessness a necessity. They convinced themselves it was destiny to win, the world was a zero-sum game, and they intended to take it all.
They pray for miracles with lottery tickets and loans. We build the machine that grants them for a price.
This was their mantra, repeated all morning. The world wasn't a society, but an arena. They were the gladiators.
Or slaughtered. It's the law of the jungle. Dominate or be dominated. No fair play. That's a story for the poor.
Look at them. They're playing a game they don't understand. Rules written to keep them in their place. They work, save, invest in pensions. Sheep waiting to be sheared.
They saw themselves as revolutionaries, battering down the gates of the establishment. This wasn't just a scheme, it was a crusade. They weren't just enriching themselves, they were liberating the world from a corrupt system. Or so they told themselves. The ghost of Nixon's decision was their rallying cry.
It's a Trojan horse. We sell them the dream of getting rich, but we're pulling their money into our system. Every dollar into Bitcoin is a brick pulled from the old financial temple. We use their greed to finance their destruction.
History lesson. August 15th, 1971. Nixon closes the gold window. The dollar becomes paper, backed by nothing but promises. And we all know what those are worth. That was the day the old system became a confidence game. They built a system of infinite debt, endless printing, a financial prison disguised as a palace. But now, for the first time in 50 years, we have something they can't control or print away.
Julian's expression hardened. Her doubts were a flaw, a liability. In this room, empathy was a disease, and Olivia was showing symptoms. She was at a crossroads, her conscience or her ambition. The group's consensus was not optional. Olivia's hesitation was a threat to their unity. She was forced to choose, join them fully or be left behind. The pressure was suffocating. In this world, there was no room for doubt, only domination.
They want villains. They admire strength, not kindness. Weakness doesn't sell.
Who cares what we sound like as long as they buy in?
The word hung in the air, almost a whisper.
It's not second thoughts, it's the messaging. The way we talk about people, your poverty funds our Prada. It's aggressive.
She tried to frame her objection as strategic, not moral.
Don't you think it makes us sound like villains?
The question was an accusation disguised as concern. All eyes turned to her.
Olivia, you're quiet. Second thoughts?
Olivia stayed silent through the sermon of financial revolution, her gaze fixed on a park far below. Normal people living normal lives, the very people Julian dismissed as sheep. Julian noticed her detachment. The ultimatum was absolute. Conform or be cast out, join the predators or be prey. Olivia's choice was clear, at least to them. The room waited for her answer. The stakes had never been higher.
You're with us or against us. If you're against us, you're one of them, back with the sheep. Is that what you want?
He reduced her concerns to branding, ignoring the core of her objection.
The math is sound, the code is pure. What we say is just marketing. You sell the sizzle, not the steak. The domination narrative is our sizzle.
Her place in this family was conditional on loyalty and suppressing her moral code.
Liv, we're a family. We rise or fall together. Don't be the weak link.
Olivia, we all read the same books. You don't disrupt a system by asking permission. Collateral damage is expected.
The pressure on Olivia intensified, a psychological gauntlet to break her resistance. Laughter erupted. Investors were marks, resources to be drained. Olivia did not laugh. She watched, a sick feeling growing. This wasn't business. It was predation. The promise of Bitcoin was being twisted into a weapon for a new aristocracy.
That's our new tagline, your poverty funds our Prada.
Every dentist who wires us 10 grand buys Isabella a new pair of shoes.
Isabella drafted an email, psychological manipulation disguised as opportunity.
The skeptics fuel our ascent.
The aspirational poor, rich enough to lose, not smart enough to see the hook.
The group's cult-like mentality became clear as they prepared to recruit their first investors. The energy shifted. No more boasting, just cold, focused action. Laptops opened, phones raised, the team moved with practiced efficiency. They were sharks, moving in for the kill. Julian approached Olivia, holding out a tablet with a digital contract. It was the point of no return. Signing meant binding herself to them, their methods, their doctrine. Her signature would be her pledge of allegiance. The screen glowed with the contract's cold, impersonal language. By signing, she'd agreed to suppress her doubts, adopt their worldview, and treat people as resources. It was a contract with the devil, written in corporate law. Her hand trembled as she reached for the stylus. The choice was hers, but the cost was everything. The room watched, silent and expectant. The future hung on her decision.
Enough talk, time to execute. Isabella, send the email. Marcus, make calls. Leo, monitor the network.
The sun was high now, the party was over, work began. The group cheered, their victory complete. But as they turned away, Olivia's smile vanished. She stared out the window, her expression haunted. This was just the beginning, the first compromise, the first step on a dark road. And she knew in that silent moment there would be no turning back.
To dominating.
Olivia forced a brittle smile, raising her champagne flute to the group.
You'll thank us from your yacht in a year.
Welcome to the family, Olivia.
Olivia took the stylus, the metal heavy in her hand. She stared at the screen, the war inside her raging, conscience versus ambition. The faces of her partners surrounded her, impatient and expectant. She was trapped. The gilded cage had closed. With a resigned sigh, she signed her name. The contract was sealed.